Hi and welcome to another one of my videos for the live sound. Today I'm just going to share with you a few of my tips that I have both for equipment, things to do and actually working your PA system. The first tip I've got is cables. The bane of most people's life, but if you do it right it shouldn't cause you any problems. The biggest problem most people have is mic cables and getting them kinked or twisted or in knots when they come to use them after the last time. This is all to do with how they're wound. So as you can see from this one, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but no kinks whatsoever. And this is all to do with the winding technique. I don't know how well it'll turn out on the video, but this is how I do it. So start, if you're left or right-handed, just reverse what I'm doing. I'm right-handed, so left hand, and use your thumb and forefinger, twist the cable to a circle, pull out, then twist the opposite way and twist back on itself, twist forward, twist backwards, twist forward, twist backwards, twist forward, twist backwards, forwards, backwards, and you will get every time a kink-free coil that you can just drop and pull the cable away when you're laying out your cables on a run. So I'll just wind this up. And there we go, nice tight coil. The other tip to go with the cables is always, obviously, tie them up with something. I do have some Velcro straps. If you don't have Velcro straps, then you can revert to the standard, which is just use a bit of insulation tape around it, generally speaking between your two XLRs, because they're going to be quite close together, so you end up with a nice neat coil of cable in your box. Okay, so that is tip number one. Tip number two, microphones. What's to do? This is something that if you're using the same mics night after night, as you may know, when singers are singing or just when you're talking, you do project a little bit of saliva out of your mouth all the time you're speaking or singing. This gets your mic heads very dirty. So what I tend to do is every 2 or 3 days, when I'm every 2 or 3 gigs, is I will actually unscrew the filter from the head of the mic and take the foam out. I can't actually do it on this one, it's quite a tight fit. But then just soak the actual grill overnight in some soapy water, shake it off, let it dry out. Your foams, same again, soak them overnight in soapy water, let them dry out naturally. Don't put them on the radiators, it can cause shrinkage on your foam and they won't fit again properly. But this then stops any mould or any bacteria sitting on your mic screens, especially as some singers do have a tendency to what they call eat the mic, and you're basically transferring germs from one person to another via the mic screen. So more of a hygiene issue than anything else, but if your clients, your artists, know that you do regularly clean your mic screens, it's going to give them a bit more confidence to get up close and personal with the mic when they're singing. So you don't have to turn them up on the desk because they're holding the mic a foot away from their mouth for fear of getting any infections. So yeah, that's just a little tip for mic screens. Again, do it with any mic screen that your head screen can come off, and it will just keep your mics nice and clean and give your artist more confidence. So that's tip number two. Tip number three, for me, is just a few things to keep in your little toolbox. First item, insulation tape or just some white tape to put along the front of your desk so you can mark off your channels and what they do. And to go with that, a Sharpie to write on the tape. Always keep one of those. Ideally keep 2, so you've always got a spare one in case the first one runs out. Number 3, little battery tester. This one will do your AA's, your AAA's, and it's also got contacts on there for your 9-volt batteries. just in case you're having issues with anything that requires batteries, like radio mics or condenser mics, you can test the battery and see if it's okay. If it is, then your problem may be elsewhere, but obviously battery's always the first thing to check. So I just keep one of those in my toolbox. Another thing I like to keep in there, because you only get one pair of them, ear protectors, little foam ear protectors. These are sound muffling, not sound deadening, so all these do is actually reduce the level of the volume that comes into your ears. It doesn't actually cancel out any volume, it just reduces the level. So you can still hear someone talking to you stood next to you, but you're not going to get deafened by your 4, 5, 6, 10, 15,000 watts that's coming out of your front of house speakers. I tend to buy disposable ones, so at the end of the night, I bin them. They just go in the bin along with the tape that I've ripped off the desk. So that's equipment tips. The only other tip I would have for today would be a tip regarding doing your sound checks. I always tend to start, even though I might have the desk laid out with the first 10 or so channels for drums, I will start further down the desk and I will start with the lead vocal. Because once you've got the lead vocal sorted, both front of house and their monitor level that they like, you don't have to worry about asking the rest of the band to turn down, because your lead singer will do it for you. If he has been happy with his monitor mix when there's been nothing else going on stage, and then all of a sudden the backline amps like the guitars and the bass and maybe a keyboard amp are too loud on stage, your lead singer will ask the band to turn down. You won't have to do it for yourself, and then you can basically reinforce the sound that's coming off the stage through the front of house speakers. If the guitarist does want to hear his amp a bit louder, you can always feed some of it back to him in his monitor mix. If anybody else wants to hear it, you can feed it to them as well. But if your backline is low enough, everything can be heard through the monitors or through the front of house. It's just a little tip to make your life as a sound engineer easier, because you're not having to fight with the band to get them to turn down, so that you can reinforce them through the PA. So yeah, that's my 4 tips for today. If you enjoyed these tips, please bang a like on the video. If there's anything else you'd like to have tips on, or anything else that you'd like to ask, please put it in the comments, and we'll try and do a video on it next time. Thanks for watching.